Vincent van Gogh is one of the world's most famous artists and is still widely known today. Van Gogh is known all over the world for his heartbreaking but determining life story as an artist. In the art world, people know his name because of some of his most extravagant pieces of artwork, such as the famous Starry Night painted in 1888. He is known for creating the painting style impasto, using thick painting styles or with a palette knife. Van Gogh struggled with mental health and evidently struggled with manic depression. This caused him to commit suicide in 1890 at just 37 years old. Vincent van Gogh's artwork was affected by different circumstances that occurred in his life, as shown through his paintings, such as his earlier painting, Bedroom in Arleux, compared to one of his later paintings, Starry Night. We see a dramatic jump in his use of color, technique, and the number of work that he produced. Vincent van Gogh was born on March 30th, 1853 in the Netherlands and died due to suicide at the age of 37 on July 29th, 1890. Van Gogh was a self-taught artist who began painting and drawing around the age of 27. He began his education at a village school, then went to a boarding school. He had to drop out to find a job to help his family's financial situation. When Vincent was 23, his older brother Theo encouraged him to move to Brussels, Belgium to study art. He was heavily involved in pointillism in the Neo-Impressionism and Post-Impressionism period. His medium is mainly painting and drawing, but also printmaking and watercolor painting. Van Gogh used portrait painting as a method of introspection, a method to make money, and a method of developing his artistic skills. He was also known for his thick application of paint on canvas called impasto. An Italian word for paste or mixture, impasto is used to describe a painting technique where paint, usually oil, is laid on so thickly that the texture of brushstrokes are clearly visible. Van Gogh's works were heavily influenced by his struggle with mental illness. Evidence suggests that he struggled with manic depression and psychosis during his last 18 months. He wouldn't have been where he was without his brother Theo, who pushed him to study art and also financially helped him through the process. He had always been pretty independent from the start, having to leave school to help bring in money for his family and their financial issues. The most famous artwork that Van Gogh has done was Starry Night, painted in 1888, as a view from his sanitarium room window. Another important artwork would be his multiple self-portraits. We don't get a good visual of what Van Gogh looked like, but his self-portraits throughout the years of his life allow the viewers to see his development. Van Gogh was influential still to this day for many reasons. He is known for being one of the most successful artists during the Neo-Impressionism period, along with his struggles and mental illness, but still being able to paint some of the most extravagant paintings ever. His motivation came from using art as a tool to escape his hardships from his manic depression. These three pieces of artwork, Starry Night, Bedroom in Arleux, and Café Terrace at Night, include intense detail that draws attention to the bare eye, making them some of the most known pieces today. The first and most important artwork, Starry Night, was painted in 1888 from his sanitarium room window in the hospital he was enrolled in, Saint-Remy. In Starry Night, Van Gogh seems to be combining reality and imagination and elements of Provence and his northern homeland. This work speaks emotion through bold colors and swirling lines. The swirling lines stand out as being a painting style that Van Gogh adopted while at Saint-Remy. Here we see a jump from his Arleux paintings, as they were full of large areas of pure color compared to gray, brown, and blended colors after enrolling at Saint-Remy. This next piece of art of Van Gogh's was Bedroom in Arleux, painted in 1888. He described this painting in a letter. "It is just simply my bedroom. The walls are pale violet. The floor is covered with red tiles and wooden bedhead, and chairs are as yellow as fresh butter. The sheets and pillows are very pale lemon green." He saw this as a more simple painting rather than what others saw about it, the techniques and styles that are associated within each brushstroke. Van Gogh was proud of this piece, finally finding a style of his own. His technique had gone beyond Impressionism and Divisionism, using his paint in broad, flat brushstrokes. It displayed a sense of freedom, which is shown in the way the walls and furniture appear to be slightly tilted. Lastly, Café Terrace at Night was an oil painting, also painted in 1888. It was one of the first nocturnal scenes painted by Van Gogh, which was painted overlooking the popular Café Terrace at the Place du Forum in Arleux. Van Gogh uses a lot of contrasting colors and tones for this painting, bringing in a pulse of colors that defy the darkening night sky. The brushstrokes all along the painting are even today reminiscent of Van Gogh's sense of thrill and rapture. Vincent van Gogh saw painting as a way for him to escape the manic depression that lived within his mindset. One of his paintings, Bedroom in Arleux, shows great amounts of color with a great amount of three-dimensional figures to help express the realism of the painting Van Gogh tries to portray. He struggled after moving to Arleux, finding friends and dealing with being alone. He begged his friend, also a fellow artist, Paul Gauguin, to come and live with him. After staying with Van Gogh, Gauguin and Vincent fought frequently, sometimes based off of art critiques, others just small little things. Towards the end of 1888, things got worse. Gauguin walked outside for some fresh air to cool off after an argument when Van Gogh came rushing at him with a razor in his hand. That same day, Van Gogh went home and sliced his left ear, passed out of blood loss, and was taken by the police to the hospital. After this episode, Van Gogh was then admitted to Saint-Remy, a psychiatric hospital. Vincent produced some of his best works while staying at the hospital. One of his most famous, Starry Night, he painted 1 year later in 1889. Although this painting was a beautiful view from his hospital window, it also shows great amounts of emotional despair. The deep blue sky gives off a quest to overcome his illness in the dimness of the night sky. The village being painted with dark colors but with brightly lit windows gives off a feeling of comfort. Van Gogh's painting colors and style changed within only a year based off of the difficult circumstances and life obstacles that Vincent faced. Vincent van Gogh's artwork was affected by different circumstances that occurred in his life, as shown through his paintings such as his earlier painting, Bedroom in Arleux, compared to one of his later paintings, Starry Night. We see a dramatic jump in his use of color, technique, and the amount of work that he produced. Van Gogh was a self-taught artist who began painting and drawing around the age of 27. He's known for his thick application of paint on canvas, called impasto, along with his deep struggle involving manic depression. His 3 pieces of artwork, Starry Night, Bedroom in Arleux, Café and Terrace at Night, include intense details that draw attention to the bare eye, making them some of the most known pieces today. Van Gogh's painting colors and style changed within only a year based off of the difficult circumstances and life obstacles that Vincent faced.